Okay, hello, my name is Deni Tonkin. I'm a social worker with Queensland Health. I'd like to thank Tracy for inviting me to talk today about accountability and responsibility. And as always, when Tracy asks me to do any sort of presentations for the students at James Cook, it makes me think, review, reflect and challenge what I'm actually doing. So thank you, and here we go. So accountability for me in social work is really quite complex, and it's a real web of mixed obligations, and there are many different stakeholders involved. And sometimes these demands are quite incompatible. So what I want to do is basically talk a little bit about a couple of the main accountabilities or responsibilities I feel that we have. We have an accountability to our clients. We have accountability and responsibility to our service or the agency that employs us. We have accountability to the management that we work under. We have accountability to influence the social policies. We have accountability to social justice and human rights. We have accountability to advocate on behalf of our clients and minority groups. We have accountability to ethical and evidence-based practice. We have accountability to our own professional development and to access training. And we have accountability to our professional body standards of practice and codes of ethics, and that's the ASSW for me, and also at an international level. Reflecting on this, I thought very much how our professional values and ethics are sometimes compromised due to the competing priorities of our service and our management. So I'm going to have a go at addressing just a few of these. So the first one is accountability to clients. I see that about meeting our clients' needs and helping them to access the right service to address the needs or problems that they might have. We need to help our clients understand their problem in context of the biopsychosocial models. We need to help our clients foster a quality of life and to provide a safe, effective and responsible professional practice. And in summary, that to me means do no harm. And I might come back and reflect on that a bit. So my philosophy is do no harm. I feel we have a responsibility and accountability to the service, the agency or the organisation within which we work. This is reflected in the organisational goals, the targets, the expectations that they have of us as employees. These organisational goals are usually set at a federal or a state level and sometimes at a local level within the agency that you might work. And these goals drive the nature of the service, the delivery, and usually are related to the funding agreements. For social workers and for myself in particular, the challenge is how the shift is towards more of a managerial and a neoliberal economic political model, and that really conflicts with my welfare model and the service eligibility, fair access to resources and who pays. And even the language that we're using when we talk about clients is changing. So in mental health, we talk about clients as being consumers, and we're moving more away from clients to a user pay models. Currently, my struggles in my service in particular is moving towards a clinic-based model with set appointment times that control how many clients that we see, the length of the session time, a number of the sessions a client is entitled to, and it also impacts on the limit of the therapeutic approach that we can use. For example, it needs to be evidence-based and best practice interventions, and predominantly that's like CBT. And for mental health, it's particularly CBT and mood disorders. Other therapeutic interventions can be applied, but are really dependent on the individual service. So some services really like a strengths model or a narrative model. In Queensland Health, we really love CBT and acceptance and commitment therapy. And we do a lot of loss and grief therapy as well. Our service has revised who we see thereby it's excluding clients who may have previously been offered a service. And this is again quite challenging. So where do those people that we used to provide a service to, where do they go? The other big change for us is that our service is changing their eligibility around age. So where do those kids go, parents with kids, when they don't any longer fit within our targets? So another dilemma for me about clinic appointments is that it's taking away clients' choice, and it also negates that some problems and some individuals require more or less time than the set allocated appointment time. It negates rapport building, and it impacts on our opportunity to write notes, obtaining collateral information, planning, goal setting. None of these are factored into our daily schedule. So we get quite pressured. We have client appointments, and we have no time to do any of those other tasks associated with good evidence-based practice. We may also experience, and I certainly do, an incompatibility framework of the service to delivery with my own personal practice models. And as we're moving away from the welfare model into a user pay models, I'm finding that quite a struggle with, again, just having to be very accountable to the service, the targets, and using only particular therapeutic approaches. The organisation that supports and encourage, working within an organisation that might support us, provide supervision, provide effective induction, help us with our workload management, supports continual professional development, has very clear strategic goals and practice frameworks, enhances our practice, and we can often work better when we know exactly what we're meant to be able to do. One of the other challenges is accountability to management, and I see that very much around the leadership of the team. So sometimes managers don't come from a psychosocial background. They may or may not be inclusive and have approachable leadership styles. They may or may not be client and service driven. And if they're only, about meeting organisational and strategic targets and goals, we as employees of the team can feel very left out. To work and personally, we are endorsed with client-focused needs and concerns and looking for the best outcomes for our client groups. And so we find ourselves in battle with management. It's also very difficult to work in an inflexible and unapproachable management style. So this relationship is very important, and we need to work hard to maintain and nurture those relationships with our management for the sake of our clients. I feel we also are accountable to the social policy, social justice and advocacy, and we need to be diligent to our social work roots around access, resources and power relationships. We need to be diligent to supporting and enhancing the inequality and unique challenges of vulnerable groups in our community, and the marginalised, polarised groups in our community and our larger world, and collectively raise their profiles in economic, political and social arenas. We're also accountable to ethical practice by regular reflective supervision, reviewing our practice frameworks regularly, accessing professional development and training, working with research and using best practice models. We need to be involved in our student supervision and field education opportunities. I feel we have accountability and responsibility to our professional body, the ASSW, by membership and being involved in keeping abreast of how social work is travelling in Australia and internationally, and what are the current focuses and developments and challenges. I think we're accountable to our own personal professional development, and this is about maintaining up-to-date knowledge, skills and applications in the area that we're working with. So when we're changing areas, we need to review what we know and access appropriate training to skill ourselves. Theory changes in each area as well, so we need to go back and review the theoretical approaches. Finally, I think we're accountable to ourselves, and by that I mean self-care. To be the best social worker that we can be and to be the best person we can be, to keep our passion alive and to keep our drive alive. So I guess that means practicing healthy self-care, which I'm not that great at, practicing reflection on personal and professional values. And when I was looking around some information about accountability and responsibility for social workers, I came across the IFSW policy statement. So I'm just going to finish by saying that they feel the guidelines for best social work involvement in working within management and services is around ethical and effective social work practice, aligning with organisational and social work practice objectives, protection of the interests of service users, and promoting a good standard of practice and quality service. So accountability and responsibility is multifaceted and it's very complex, and it is always about competing needs and priorities. So good luck.